What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. It is Friday, the 2nd of August, and we are here to talk about, as you can see from the title, Marc Guehi with a particular club in Newcastle, plus others interested in signing the player. There's an update on his contract situation and also an update on Jez and Rak-Sakyi, plus Malcolm Ebiowei, who has gone out on loan. As always, get involved throughout the show in the live comment section, in the comment section down below. Like if you enjoyed the stream, subscribe to not miss out on Palace content. What's everyone saying? Is everyone enjoying the weather? Honest, the weather's nice out there. I don't know where you are in the world, but in the UK it is nice out there. So I suspect a lot of people are probably outside enjoying the weather. And then here we are. We have to talk about the positives and the negatives, depending on how you view the situation. And let's start it off with Marc Guehi. A lot of people are talking in the chat already about Guehi, about whether they'll be concerned or not. But we'll discuss that. We'll discuss all of it in this episode. Let's start off with the David Ornstein report, who, reported earlier on that Newcastle have actually opened talks with Palace to sign Marc Guehi. He's ranked on number of lists for Europe's biggest clubs, but Newcastle are the first to enter meaningful talks. So talks have started according to according to David Ornstein for Marc Guehi. This is important. Marc Guehi's contract at Selhurst Park expires in 2026, and so far there's been no sign of him extending those terms. This may encourage Palace to entertain sale now. However, there's more. We'll go through all of the reports today regarding Guehi, numerous reports from different reporters about valuation, about what Palace won, etc. So Ben J said the following: said that Crystal Palace would prefer to keep Guehi despite significant interest. They valued the 24-year-old at over £60 million. And we've got Daily Mail reporting that Manchester City are one of those clubs watching Marc Guehi, but they'll likely have to sell first before solidifying their interest. So City potentially after him. And Ed Aaron saying that negotiations are at an early stage. So nothing advanced so far, but Newcastle seems like based on all the reporters' message is that, they are interested. They have begun talks. And the biggest thing out of this is that Guehi doesn't want to sign a new contract, people. I don't know what we make of that, but I guess it's not a major shock at this current moment of time. We knew that there was a chance that Guehi wasn't going to sign a new deal. Question marks about his future regarding that. Just interesting that Newcastle, out of all clubs, are the first to begin talks. Based on some of these reports, those reporters are suggesting that the reason why Newcastle are jumping the ship earlier on is because there are other big European clubs interested in Guehi, so they want to, have this deal ideally wrapped up for them earlier than possible before all the other clubs jump in, which of course makes a lot of sense for them. But Palace are not really willing to sell. I mean, we will be hard to sell. There isn't a release clause with Guehi. The thing that makes it more difficult for us is that there's only 2 years left on the deal. So if it's not this summer, next summer he'll be going for a reduced price tag. So we do have to cash in on him. And I'll be honest, let me know in the chat as well what you think of these reports. I am not fazed by one bit. Genuinely not fazed by one bit. In fact, it might sound weird. I'm excited. I'm excited at the prospect of Guehi being sold. I think he is the best defender at the football club. I'm not going to deny that, but I think we can live without Guehi. We've shown that last season. I think Glasner's system is good enough to adapt the plays. And I think the defenders that we've been linked with replacements, I think they're capable enough to come in and do a job. So if you're telling me that we're selling Guehi for me, it has to be over £60 million at least. It has to be. If we're selling and getting that kind of money for Marc Guehi, the replacement shouldn't be a concern. I think we would be able to replace him. Maybe not at the same quality, of course, because he's highly rated. And I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that Guehi isn't a good player. But I think we could find a capable enough defender. I mean, how many games did Guehi play under Glasner last season? And we still brush away teams. He's not a bad defender, but the defense is not an area of concern, especially centrally, because of Glasner being at a football club. If Glasner wasn't at a football club, then I would be concerned. I would be a bit more concerned. I wouldn't want to sell Guehi. Even right now, it's not like I'm eager to sell. I'm eager for the club to go and sell Guehi. That's not the case. But my point is, if we were to sell him, excited about the prospect of where that money goes towards, because as we mentioned before, we don't have to sign a lot of players. We don't have to sign a lot of players this summer. There are areas that we do need to target and improve, yes, but there isn't a lot that we do need to do in order to achieve that top 10 to European push. Elise going is a miss, but out of all the players mentioned that have been mentioned to leave this summer, I mean, Walton was included in that conversation as well. I'll be honest, Guehi is the one that I am least concerned about. I'm not denying his talents, but I have no concerns. In fact, it excites me with that price tag. I think we can take one step backwards by sending Guehi in hindsight, but we can take easily two steps forward with that money that's reinvested in improving the depth. So let him be sold. If he doesn't want to sign a new deal, let him be sold. We shouldn't be losing sleep over a player that doesn't want to sign a new deal at Palace. I'm not losing sleep. If it was Eze, if it was Elise, if it was Wharton, or any of those players, I think the players are harder to replace because of the qualities that they bring to the club. But Guehi, he brings a lot of qualities, don't get me wrong. But that position itself, I don't think we will crumble if we saw Guehi based on what we saw last season. So yeah, I mean, let's see what people are saying about the price tag. Let me know in the chat what you think about the Guehi rumors potentially not signing a new deal. Carl saying £70 million too low. England's best playing team that reached the final. The problem with the price tag is I realistically think Guehi should be worth around 70 to 80 million pounds. But saying that if a player is not signing a new deal and if he's only got 2 years left on his contract, realistically 60 million plus I'd be happy with, because I think that money could still go a long way. So I have no problems with that. But of course, some of you may want 70 to 80 million pounds. I'm one of them. Like, I do think he's worth that much. But even if you got 60 million pounds, it's not the end of the world. Because if you get that price right now, next summer, that price is being reduced. So we have to be careful in terms of valuations as well, in terms of what price tag we put on these players. Because if he did have 5 years left on his deal, and if there was no release, well, there isn't no release clause. But the biggest thing is, if he did have 3 to 4 or maybe to 5 years left on his deal, then fair enough. But he doesn't. He only has 2, and next summer that'll go down to 1. And we're not going to be getting 70 million pounds for a player, in my opinion, that will only have a year left on his deal. So it's better to cash in now. I think it's a sensible move. It's not a move that we should be panicking, because I think we will get a price, as the reports have suggested from David Ornstein as well. And I'll be honest, of course, I'm not saying this with any intel. I'll be honest, but I think this is a leak that's coming from Palace or from Guehi's agent in order to get the other bigger clubs notified of the situation. I don't think Palace are panicking over this. What report was it? There was a report that was suggesting, that I read around free. There was a report suggesting that Palace do not want to sell Guehi. It might have actually been from Michael Bridge. But yeah, I don't think we eagerly want to sell Guehi. But I don't think it's the end of the world if we do end up selling Guehi. I really don't. And it wouldn't surprise me if these reports are coming from Palace's end for the first time, rather than the opposition club, because it makes no sense for Newcastle to leak this information out there to the press and all of this information to come out with the valuations or price tag, with the contract situation. So I think they're just trying to rile up interest and hopefully get a decent amount of money, which I think we will do. DXN saying value will drop significantly if he doesn't sign and gets to next summer, so it can't be too greedy. Exactly. So I think 60 million plus is a fair deal. And I don't think it'll be the end of the world if you did go for that kind of price. Kevin saying we could afford a world-class striker, needed more than a centre-back. That's the thing. I mean, with this money, it could be very interesting in terms of where we head towards with this money that we could potentially get from Marc Guehi. We still got money left from the Elise deal. If we get this money as well, of course, some of that money will be spent towards a replacement. I do think we need another replacement in terms of numbers. But it gives us a lot of money with not that many positions that we really need to improve on. So if we were to sell Guehi, do Palace change their approach in terms of the valuations that they're willing to spend on some of these players? As we've seen with the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, the price put us off. Of course, there were injury concerns as well. But we don't really want to spend big amount of money on players. We want to get them for cheaper. So what happens with that money? Because, okay, cool. Let's just say it like this. need another striker. Right now, with Edouard being at the football club, I don't know if they're still targeting a striker. But let's say we need another striker. Left wing back, right wing back. We've got potentially, if we buy Guehi's replacement around £25 million and sell Guehi for 60, plus we have the Elise money as well. I mean, we still should have at least around 20 to £25 million from that. I mean, we will have, worst case scenario, at least £50 million probably in the bank to spend, combining all of the transactions. That's the worst case scenario. I mean, what do we do with that kind of money when we don't need that many positions? Do we target another 10? Do we target a right wing back or left wing back? Like, that's the most interesting thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, we could actually improve the squad even further by selling Guehi. I know that for some of you, it may seem like a big miss, but for me, with Glasner, I think we can survive without him, and it actually gets more exciting due to the possibilities I've listed. Like, there will be a lot of money and not that many positions that we actually need to target. So yeah, let's see. Just any other team, but not Newcastle. For me, I really, with the Eze and Elise situation, even Eze, I'm not really that fussed. With Elise, I was more concerned about where he ends up. With Guehi, I really don't give a toss where he ends up. Like, it doesn't really concern us. For me, the biggest thing is the price tag. Whoever wants to pay the most, then go to them. For me, look, I don't understand why. Actually, look, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say I wouldn't understand why he wouldn't want to go to Newcastle. Newcastle is still an exciting project, but there are interests from other big clubs. So for me, I do think he would end up joining a bigger club that is more likely to compete at this stage, with Newcastle project still very early on. But I don't really care. I really don't care. What on earth? Sorry, this is me off guard. What Lewis Dunk link? There's no Lewis Dunk link. Who's saying that in the chat? That is funny. There's no Lewis Dunk link. But yeah, I don't really care who ends up. Like, whoever wants to pay the price, then they can go and get Marc Guehi. You get it. Palace, a small club that beat you. Was it 5-2, 5-3? That you haven't beaten us on the Roy Hodgson and Glasner. So yeah, so small. But beating West Ham ain't a problem. Let's just say that. Newcastle will have to pay through PayPal. Colin saying we need a striker for sure. If Mateta gets injured, we're buggered. Got another decent striker, younger, that can learn from Mateta and can take over from him in the future. That's what I'm saying. Now, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem if we were to sell Guehi in terms of bringing in that striker, bringing in that wing backs, etc. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. This Guehi is not going to go away. It seems like he's more than likely to get sold this window because of him not wanting to sign a new deal. And let's have it. Like, whoever wants him, come forward with the money. Let's see how much clubs are willing to pay for Guehi, and hopefully we can move on from him sooner rather than later. I'm not losing any sleep. I'm excited about the prospect of the club that could be interested in Guehi and the money that we could receive, that we could spend back into the team. So let's see. And I think this is a fair point from Colin. Don't care how good you are. I don't want players who don't want to be heard. Get rid and bring in someone who wants to succeed in our project. Simple as. Losing no sleep over it. But yeah, let's move on to the next bit of player, and that is on Jez and Rak-Sakyi. Again, I guess we'll talk about further. This is only the start of it. There'll be more clubs 100% interested in the Guehi situation. So yeah, let's see what actually happens with it. But Jez and Rak-Sakyi, he has actually joined and is currently in America. He's been photographed as well from a few people that got the open training session. He is in Tampa. Hopefully will feature in the West Ham game. And that is a positive sign. That's a positive sign. It's a sign that we spoke about yesterday as well. The news came out yesterday from Sky Sports, suggesting that he felt unwell, and that's the reason why he didn't join the team in the first half of the tour. So that's positive. The question is now, what happens with Rak-Sakyi's future? Because if he was going to go out on loan, it would have happened so far, right? You don't keep a player early in August, especially to championship clubs as well, if you're not seriously considering keeping him. All of the players that we really wanted to go out on loan have gone out on loan, and Rak-Sakyi, there's no problems with the amount of interest that, of the clubs that want Rak-Sakyi. So that hasn't been a concern. So with Rak-Sakyi's future, with him joining the tour as well and debunking them rumors that we spoke about the other day on here, for now anyways, is he going to have a role? And if he has a role at the club going into next season, which I really want him to do, with Sarr coming in as well, do we sign another 10 or an attacker? I don't think we really need to. I don't think we do. So what do we actually do with that money? I mean, we still sign the likes of Edwards. I mean, all of the attackers, it's gone quiet. The links have been gone quiet, absolutely quiet. I mean, when's the last time we spoke about forward that's been linked, especially number 10? It's been at least a week. It must be at least a week or longer than that. So that's gone quiet. Do we just keep Rak-Sakyi and keep the money? I mean, what do we do with the money? Left wing back, Ume is a target there, which would that would be amazing for us to see an academy prospect get the opportunity. Right wing back, do we spend the money there? I mean, we've got money to spend, striker, and we will spend money. So Rak-Sakyi hopefully staying, hopefully continuing to prove himself. Fingers crossed he features in a West Ham game. By the way, we will be doing a watch along for that as well. I know a lot of you were concerned about the timer, but I think the same timer will remain for that preseason game. But yeah, we'll be doing a watch along and match reaction. If he plays in that game, if he joins on tour and we're not sending him out on loan yet, then I don't know if we need another attacker. I don't. Rex is saying, I don't see us getting another 10. I don't even see Jez getting minutes as is. Kamada comes off, Sarr comes on. Where does this leave Jez? What was it? Simple as that? I mean, I spoke about the potential scenario yesterday that you can have Sarr and Jez on the pitch at the same time, because I've got a sneaky feeling about this. Of course, let's see what actually happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if Glasner tries to convert Sarr into more of a striker because of his build. He's pretty tall, he's strong, and with good coaching, he's got potential up there. So you could even have a scenario of Jez playing down the right-hand side as a number 10, not, of course, as a winger. We don't really do wingers under Glasner. And you can have Sarr up front on the pitch. So I think there are roles for both of them if they did want to stay at the football club. There is no concerns about that. But saying that, if we do keep him, Jez, that I'm talking about, do we need another 10? Because that's when things get a bit tricky, especially with Kamada being there. So yeah, I mean, let's see. MTB flat saying getting too late for Jez to go on loan. Championship starts next Saturday. That's my feeling as well. Surely, if he was 100% confirmed to go out on loan, then I mean, he would have gone by now. Yes, the Evans saying striker Sarr. You never know. How are you feeling about it? I think it could work out. Sarr as a striker. So yeah. Let's see. Eze and Elise were both out for periods last season. Of course, there are injuries as well. So I think there's a role for Jez there. And by the days going by him actually joining the tour, I think now we're more towards Jez staying than actually leaving. So which is positive, by the way. So let's see what actually happens with him. But fingers crossed we'll actually get to see Jez play tomorrow night. Yeah, it should be tomorrow night. 4 a.m. UK time. And also, finally, and before we answer any questions and talk about just general stuff, another update today is that Malcolm Ebiowei, I believe, before I went on live, that loan move has actually been confirmed. He has joined Oxford United for the upcoming season. So best of luck to him there. He has to prove himself. He's got talent, but there have been question marks about potentially his attitude and this and that. I mean, he hasn't had that many great loan spells as well. So fingers crossed that Malcolm proves himself. Webber's not at Palace. If he moves on to another football club, then if we can get any kind of money for him, that'll still be great. But he's not a bad talent. And I've seen a few people here say that, Malcolm Ebiowei is naturally gifted. How comes he's not getting an opportunity? He has other opportunities out on loan, and he hasn't really impressed. He has to impress. We've seen with other players that have impressed. For example, Rak-Sakyi impressed when he went out on loan to Charlton. And Ebiowei needs to have similar levels of impact. And fingers crossed he does, because there's a player in him, but I don't know what exactly is going on behind the scenes. He just hasn't been able to prove himself at Palace, even in pre-season as well. I can't believe we got a West Ham fan talking rubbish to us after, I can't remember the last time West Ham had beaten us. Exactly. We always beat them. What are you doing on a padded stream? Like, this is the worst place for you to come on, especially as a West Ham fan. And we'll see what happens with Lopetegui, but I am not worried about West Ham. Literally, they've literally got a Wolves reject as a manager, and they're happening up to us. That's funny. Let's see through some of the comments. What we saying? Recommend we get Guehi. What's it looking like? I mean, we spoke about it at the start of the stream, but there is a chance you can get Guehi. Surely you don't start the talks if you don't think there is a chance that Guehi doesn't want to join you. So there must be a chance there. But as I've said at the start of the stream, I won't be surprised if this is a Palace or a Guehi leak in order to get other clubs moving for him. Because it makes no sense for these stories to come out from Newcastle side. So yes, you do have a chance, but I think that chance depends on how serious other big six clubs are in order to get Guehi. The price, Palace won around £65 million, so it should be around 60 million plus, which you would suspect that Newcastle will be able to afford. And if you can get him, I think that would be fantastic business. So all we care about is the money. If you can get the money for Guehi around £60 million plus, I think you get a defender, and we get very good money to reinvest that back into the squad. The defense is a major concern at this current moment of time. So yeah, I mean, there is a chance there. So 2 years left on his deal. Who is your ideal Guehi replacement? We've been linked with a few players. I mean, Chalobah is one to keep our eyes on due to the fact that Chelsea are willing to sell him. By the way, people, if you're enjoying this, hit the like button if you haven't already done so, and subscribe. We're very close to 5,000. It only takes a second of your time. Really appreciate the support from everyone so far. So thank you for that if you've already done that. But quick reminder if you haven't. Chalobah's been rumoured, and Chalobah potentially depending on other clubs. If Chelsea are so keen to sell him on, let's see how much he actually goes for. And LaCroix, and that's the biggest one. I mean, we've seen Kamada reunion with Glasner, and Glasner's worked with him as well. So I think that is the two players I'm looking at mainly, but there are other players as well that are good enough. So with the replacements, I'm not even concerned. I mean, who would you guys want as a replacement for Guehi if he was to leave, which is looking more than likely now? Hopefully, anyways, in my opinion, I would be happy with him going. Who would you want as your replacement? And for me, the replacements out there, all of the names I have no worries with them. I think they'll be able to do a good enough job. I rate LaCroix way more than Chalobah. Fair enough. LaCroix, yeah, I mean, I think that's that. Everyone's pretty much saying the same thing. I think he'll fit right into our squad. Also, he's fairly young as well. He's only 24 years old. He feels like he's been around ages. Only 24 years old. Has very good experience first team level. So I think it makes natural sense. And I believe he only has a year left on his deal as well. So in terms of the price, it should be able to fit exactly what we want as well, around 20 to 25 million pounds. So I think that's the natural replacement right now. I mean, if you get 20, 25 million for him, got very good money for Guehi, and we can spend the rest on other positions on top of the Elise money that we still got to spend as well. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. We're starting to get some signings into the women's team of the NSB covering. Right now, if we want to get to covering the women's team, I wanted to cover it with the respect that it deserves. And right now, there are other content that is in a pipeline for the general men's team. So in the future, yes, but for this upcoming season, right now, no, because there are some other elements that we need to be getting into. And women's team, I don't want it to be, where would it fit? Where would it, I want it to give the respect that it deserves as well. But it's being thought about. It's being thought about behind the scenes, in honesty. But yeah, as I said, I want it to give the respect it deserves. And right now, there isn't, in terms of the additional content as well. Let's get that out of the way. As you've seen a few other content, thumbnails and this and that, we'll get on more content next season. And then afterwards, find a way to fit the women's team into it as well. But that's a very good question. Callum saying, we already answered that. If you have any question, put a Q in the dot before it, people. If you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button if you haven't already done so. And don't let a West Ham fan trigger you all so much. It is a West Ham fan after all. Rex is saying who you're most excited to see play develop next season. Mine has to be Franca. There's a lot of play. I mean, Wharton over 38 game season is an exciting prospect. and I think his price is gonna just skyrocket even further. But I think France is that he just naturally has this question mark over him because of the season. Last season, barely getting any opportunities, struggling with injuries as well. So he is the main one. Apart from that, who else is there realistically that we're excited to see develop and play next season? If there's any other names you mentioned, let me know in the chat. But yeah, it does have to be France. Evan saying, I just want to see Wharton score because his celebration is a backflip. Yeah, that would be lovely as well. Kevin saying, oh, geez, loads of comments. Kevin saying Holding and Wardy could be up under Glasner. If Nathaniel Klein can, then yeah, 100%. I mean, Joe Ward has already done as well, and Holding can as well. But saying that, we don't sell Guehi and not sign another defender. I don't think that's the case. So they could do a job as an option, but we don't want them to be the starters because that would be a bit crazy if we done that. But yeah, let's go through more comments. This West Ham fan just Rattlers, Palace fan just. Why are we entertaining a West Ham fan? We've literally beaten them how many times? Riyadh is a underrated long-term potential Guehi replacement as well. Not for now. We do need to sign another player, but I want to see how Riyadh develops. I want to see actually how many minutes he gets next season because that's the biggest thing about Riyadh as well. With let's say Guehi was to go, it'll be the Guehi's replacement. Holding, no, not Holding, God forbid. I mean, Guehi's replacement, Anderson and Richards started. So Riyadh, I mean, let's see he can push himself a spot. I think right now he's battling Richards for that spot. I know T doesn't like to talk about it, but I think that is the main battle that's going on. Richards versus Riyadh, who starts, and Riyadh's had a very good preseason. Second against Wolves is a bit more shaky, so he might need a bit of time to adjust to the Premier League. But yeah, I mean, that's not a bad shout as well. Let's see how many opportunities he actually gets. Tomorrow, midnight tomorrow, D. Yes, Nick, midnight tomorrow. I have to actually message you. I don't know if you're about for that. But we will be here. We'll be here for a live watch along. And honestly, a quick question, man. I was thinking about this as well, and I don't want to jinx it. I don't really care if we lose tomorrow or not. For me, preseason is not as important as the league games. But when is the last time we've lost a game? Anyone know? I genuinely can't remember the last time we've lost a game, which is a very good look. And that's including pre-season as well. We haven't, I can't remember. But yeah, let's see. Let's see if any of you can remember that little memory test. 118 days ago. That's crazy, the fact that you lot counting it. 118 days ago. Who was it against? Who did we lose against last? Just out of curiosity, I can't remember. I can't remember when we lost a game. For me, that's not the West Ham game, the Brentford game in particular. I want to continue that streak from last season. So yes, it's a new season, but we are 7 games unbeaten. I do remember that streak, and I want to continue that going into next season as well. And so far in pre-season, it's been good. Oh, City, I can't even. Oh yeah, Bournemouth. Was City or Bournemouth? I can't remember. Bournemouth, did we not draw? But yeah, Hammer Live saying you lot had a lucky little run form. Glasner's been found out deep. Admit it. What are you talking about? Glasner's been found out deep. What are you talking about? Like literally, what are you on about? How has he been found out deep? Lucky little run of form. Well, let's see next season, but you're gonna get humbled by Lopetegui. Let's just say that. Yeah, it was City. Okay, yeah, I mean it was a while ago. Let's just say that. I genuinely don't know how we've been found out, but let me know and just give me that information. Mitch saying, I don't even understand West Ham rivalry. Can't we just hate on Millwall together? They're just obsessed with us. They've been obsessed with us for a while. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah. Look, people, we are going to wrap up now. There isn't anything else. If there's any other questions, feel free to send them through whilst I'm looking at this. Guehi. I think Guehi's actually he's on Twitter now. He's on X, and he's posting a message talking about his time for England in the Euros, which happened about half an hour ago, so right before we went live. So I believe this is the official account. It should be the official account. But yeah, apparently Guehi's on Twitter. Where do you think we finish next season? let's see when the window ends. But top 10 should be the minimum aim, and I still feel like we can get that. But it depends on how we finish the window. As we're talking about here, it's hard to see who will still have at the football club, who will be doing signings, what we'll do with the money. So it's a bit hard to predict right now. But I'm pretty sure we'll do a season preview and we'll talk about predictions then right before the Brentford game. So yeah, let's see what happens. But people, I'm going to wrap up there. If you have enjoyed this, please hit the like button. That's all I ask for. Get involved in the comment section down below if you're watching on replay. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. That's it from us today. We'll be back tomorrow night, morning, 12 a.m., depending on where you are in the world, for the watch along, plus any other news updates. And until next time, up the Palace, keep safe.